IVF cost me £6,000 at the time. I get one shot, no guarantee it failed. Second choice was adoption, 18 months in that fell through. In the end, my wife decided the only thing left to do was fuck me. I'm Adam. Just give you all time to get used to my face. How you getting on with it? Quite obvious, aren't I?
Adam, thank you very much for coming on the podcast. I noticed your opening joke, was that your regular opening joke? So it's about your Jewish heritage, your features?
That's new, that's quite new.
Is that quite new?
Yeah.
So
about being half Jewish but looking full Jewish.
I'm actually Jewish, I'm half Jewish. Look how Jewish my face is, I'm only half Jewish. Imagine how Jewish like if I was Jewish. There's no more room, is there? There are features queuing up to get on my face.
There's not much more room on the face.
Yeah, there's no
it's a
more
really
room.
lovely
You like
line.
that?
Are you, how much have you done it as your opening joke?
Maybe 6 times, but the new bit is saying that there are features queuing up to get on my face.
It's like there are 3 jokes within that one line. You know, it's very dense.
The thing is, my stuff's short, but I'll still cram it with punchlines.
Yeah.
So some people say, well, why don't you make that a bit longer? I don't want to dwell on anything for too long because it looks too written, and I want to keep just moving. But I would never just present an idea and that's all there is.
Yeah.
There'll always be an extra gag or 2 within it. And if there isn't, when I do it again and again, there'll be, like the one about my daughter doing that to me, that's got 3 punchlines. Tonight there are very few parents in, so therefore it's not as funny. The bit when I go, if you don't think your kid's clever, you're an idiot.
Everyone thinks their kid's more intelligent than everyone else's kid. And if you don't, you're an idiot. And so's your kid. I found out when my daughter was 30 seconds old, she was bright. Very bright. She's in my arms, I'm the first human being she's ever seen, it's the first child of mine I've ever seen. I looked in the eye contact, I went, and she went. Clever kid.
That's funny to parents because I've just insulted their child, and they're laughing because it's not personal. I don't know their child, but as I said that line, that's quite new too. I knew it wouldn't get as big a laugh as normal to a room of non-parents because it's a guttural laugh. I've just called your child an idiot, but the point is, that was the joke, but there's now improvised 2 new lines building up to it. So I'll just keep taking stuff on stage and riffing with it, and then it just grows organically. And everyone talks about being a writer. I don't sit down to write my material. I sit down to write other people's material when they pay me to. My stuff, I think of it in the street, walking down the street. I try it on stage, and then it will grow on stage by doing ad-libbing around it, such as having 3 jokes about the baby.
Yeah. And I've noticed that there's more than most other comedians, the amount of, it's almost like the way that you undercut the joke. So you look at a basic joke as a pullback and reveal, but I would say that quite a few of your structures would be pullback, reveal.
Yeah, or spin twist.
Yeah, spit and twist. Is that what you call it?
Spin twist, I
Spin
think.
twist.
I just made that up.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. He's going, what's a spit and twist?
Yeah, I know, what's a spit and twist? But like, there are some, like, say your last joke.
I did a show 5 years ago in Northampton, and an old school friend of mine's a bricklayer. And he said, come out for dinner, and I'll drive to the show. We drove past a huge detached house with a brick wall around it. He said, see that brick wall? I built that wall myself 7 years ago. And I was jealous, because it's permanent. 7 years later, look what I do. You come, you sit down, you laugh, you leave. I've got nothing to show for this. Wouldn't it be lovely if I could walk into this room tomorrow and see all of you in the same seat still laughing? Wouldn't it be lovely? I can. I've glued your seats, lock the doors, release Mr. Tickle. Bring out the gimp.
There are many spin twists within that. Like, it's a story that, like, you think you're talking about this, then you're talking about that. You know, you really lead people along on one way, and so it's a real kind of shock surprise, but like a real laugh, unexpected surprise. Like, what's your kind of barometer for deciding when something is strong enough for you to do?
The story should always have a massive laugh at the end, and I had a routine about being mugged in Manchester. I don't know if you ever saw it, and it was really popular amongst comedians and audiences, but it faded at the end. And I think like the ultimate stand-up story ever is Woody Allen's Moose routine, and the last laugh is the biggest laugh, and it's such a laugh. Conducting an orchestra, like that, and the brick wall is actually, that wasn't the biggest laugh tonight on that. I actually got a bigger laugh pointing out that I made some of the story up.
I did my show, I came up to you afterwards. He had a green t-shirt actually and a big bushy beard. He said, Adam, I'd like to thank you. My wife's just had twin boys, they're born 3 months premature and they have a 50% chance to survive. Can you imagine the pressure on that couple? He said, I'm losing my mind, I haven't slept a wink for 3 days. I came to your show, I'd like to thank you, because the 15 minutes you're on stage, I slept like a baby. No, he said, you took my mind off my problems. That's my purpose, right? It's a simple purpose, and I'm proud of it. And the reason I'm sharing this with you lovely people is I went back to that same theatre the other day and I spent the whole drive wondering this guy's going to turn up, did my show, guy comes up to me, same outfit, same beard, same place in the room. He said, do you remember me, Adam? I said, I remember you very well, what happened? And he said, I promise you, they both survived. I said, you've made my day. There must be 5 now, 5.5. He said, well, it would have been. We're walking through Northampton, there's brick wall on them. I'd just like to say before I go, some of that story's not true, right?
Telling the audience off for being taken so seriously. A little bit sensitive, I thought they were.
Yeah.
Yeah, you should always aim. A story should always aim to have the biggest laugh at the end. You know, you want to leave the cinema going like that, don't you? Yeah. And a story is a short film. But the twist, when I say I haven't slept for 3 days and came to show and did 50 minutes show on stage, I slept like a baby. That is enough for it to be the funny bit. And the reason I will always have a joke before the big twist at the end is because they think that is the end. Yeah. And if they think that's the end and you're going to hit them there.
Nice.
Yeah, so I would never go da 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 bang, because they go, well, there's going to be a bang because you're taking ages getting to it.
Yeah.
But if you have a false ending,
and
my body language, I actually pick my bag up, so they think the show's over because it's clearing up. Well, I pick my bag up to make them think there's no more jokes.
That's such a great technique. I mean, I don't see anybody employ that technique as as effectively or at all. Like the wedding ring joke is a great example of like something that is such a beautiful twist, and people don't see it coming.
Pure misdirection, yeah.
So it rained. It rained today, right? Yeah. I got caught in the rain yesterday. I lose umbrella. I got my little man bag there. I got an umbrella on me always, but I lose it. I'll tell you why. Okay, I live in London. Got my man bag. When it rains, does the job, right? I go on the underground with a wet umbrella. I'm not going to put that in a leather bag. Right? I know it comes with a cover, but I'm not sitting on a packed tube going. So I put it on the floor, middle A, short-term memory loss, I forget. And I'll give you another example of short-term memory loss. Listen to this. On my honeymoon, I took my wedding ring off to go swimming in the sea, and I fucked someone.
So I came out with that joke as just as it is. But then when I came up with a bit about losing umbrellas, on the tube, I realised that if I put the losing umbrella joke and the ring back to back, they've got used to the same pattern of, I had an umbrella, I lost it. So if you just go, wedding ring joke, misdirection, bang. But if you do the joke about the umbrella first, everyone knows you're going to do another lost story because you've just lost a worthless item. Then here's an even worse example. Now you've gone from £5 umbrella to wedding ring. There's like, oh no, you didn't do it again. So the pattern, there's something, I do close-up magic as a hobby. There's something called the feign where you will, let's say you're going to make something vanish and you don't actually put it in this hand and it vanishes. The feign is you put in that hand, let's say it's a rolled up bit of napkin, you put in that hand, genuinely put it in the hand, and as an afterthought, you roll it up tighter to get it tighter, and then you do the move. They've got used to seeing it go in the hand. Then when it's gone, it's like there's a napkin in the hand. Oh, just an afterthought. So my point is that the feign in the umbrella trick is I've shown you losing an umbrella, and now I'm showing you apparently losing a wedding ring. So the feign is exactly the same. So I don't know a comedian who's done the feign before. You talk about the originality of picking up my bag. But I've never seen someone do a punchline that has a pattern where the next joke with misdirection has the same pattern that twists. Because so people are like, oh, they're so emotionally involved. Someone swooned. Oh, you know. So that's a nice technique.
That is, I can really see the magic in it. The parallel with magic. When I see a lot of people, right? Most people are focusing on the joke. What's the funny twist? But they're not really focusing on the run-up to the joke.
Sure.
And which is entirely, dictates how the joke lands. Some people do, part of the run-up of the joke is getting the right mood in the room, or having the right relationship with somebody, or saying the right thing to somebody. There are lots of nuances that lead it, but that's a really fascinating one. Yeah, what did you think of the audience here today? Because something how would you kind of assess them? You said they were a bit sensitive about the wall joke at the end, that you had to do the.
They didn't get the roar it should have got.
Yeah.
And also the mixture of, I speak very fast and my stuff's cerebral, and if you're listening in a second language, it can be hard to keep up with.
And you said that early in the gig, actually. Like, we've got quite a few people from outside the UK, and
about 5 minutes in, I think
that,
I acknowledged it. It was an Australian woman, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Give me a cheer if you're not English. Hey! I might have to slow down a little bit because I realise this is quite tourist heavy. Right? Where are you from?
Australia.
Oh, okay. I've been there. Do you know John?
If I'd known how many of them were abroad, I would have probably slowed down a bit.
Yeah.
Because I was racing through, wasn't I?
Yeah.
So I went, okay.
It might be that.
Might be that.
Yeah.
And but I celebrated it. I didn't.
Oh yeah. Oh no, but I mean, the thing is, the crowd here is always very international.
Right. I didn't know. It's my first time. I've never played it before.
Because it's a metropolis. That's what it is. So it's a really different
Chinese
demographic.
people from Ireland.
Yeah, but I mean, yeah, exactly. That was the nice moment. A Chinese person from Ireland. There was what happened in that? Because there was a moment where you did that, where you said that, and it was a lovely laugh, and you laughed at it. But did you have any? Because I've noticed in the set, like you talk quite openly about race.
I'm 53 this year. Woo! I know. Black don't crack. Now, see, black people laughing, white people going, oh, I can't laugh at that. That's what happened. She was laughing. They looked at her to check they could laugh.
The moment where the black guy laughed about, what was it?
Black don't crack.
Black don't crack. And kind of, you named it and addressed it in the room.
Yeah, it was a woman. There was a woman laughing. He actually shook his head. I actually pretended he'd enjoyed it, but actual fact, he shook his head.
Right.
But the woman next to him cracked up. There will always be black people laughing at that line.
Yeah.
Always.
Yeah.
And I, South London, more integrated, everyone laughs at it because all white people know that phrase.
Yeah.
But tonight, I don't think everyone knew that phrase.
Mm.
And if you're from Australia, you've just come over here, you don't know that phrase.
Yeah.
So when the black woman laughed really noticeably louder than anyone else, I then made that the focal point and talked about the white people not being able to laugh.
Yeah,
then the guy closest to me was Asian, and I went, well, you're Chinese, you don't know where you stand on this one, which is dangerous at the best of times. I mean, if I said you're Asian, you don't know where to stand on this, that's already dangerous because you're acknowledging you're not black or white.
You're Chinese, you weren't sure where you stood on it.
I mean, I pour awkward on awkward because the audience have not laughed as one at a joke about race. Black people have laughed. That's already a divide. I've then drawn attention to that and then brought a third race in and then generalised what country he's from, which is the most dangerous thing in the world because you're Asian, you're Chinese, but what a save because then he went, I said, where are you from?
You're not Chinese, are you? Where are you from?
Ireland.
Oh my God! The world's changed and I haven't caught up.
It's beautiful, right?
Yeah, exactly.
That was a beautiful moment.
Yeah.
But of course, I didn't do anything. But then again, if you shake hornet's nests and things come out, you get the credit at least for getting the things out of the hornet's nest.
And but the next moment, what's going on in your head in that particular moment where you've kind of shook the hornet's nest and it's kind of come out, or it kind of blew up in your face in a funny way, an enjoyable way? What was going on inside you for that moment?
I've never shared this thought before. I grew up in quite a dysfunctional household before my parents split up, and I think I gravitate towards chaos and friction. I'm wearing glasses this time round.
Oh yeah.
So I like a bit of drama and I like a bit of edge because live stand-up can be looking like watching television if it's too much monologue. And of course you're in the room with the person, it's live, of course it's different. But what makes it really different is a live moment that is out of your control.
Yeah.
And then watching you control something that you couldn't have seen coming.
Yeah.
And when I went, you're Asian, you don't know where you stand on this, my brain, I'm a loose cannon. So I'm talking about race and the first thing I see is an Asian guy. So that comes out immediately, right?
Yeah.
And so I'm adding chaos to there's not chaos already, but there's confusion, I'm pointing at black people.
Yeah.
I'm pointing at black people and talking about white people, not laughing. That's something going on.
Yeah.
Then I'm upping it by going, and you're Asian, but you're Chinese. So I'm putting chaos on top of chaos. I'm putting controversy on top of potential controversy. And I'm just going, well, let's see where this goes. But I'm not, we were just talking earlier about people getting credit for doing something brilliant when they haven't. I'm not thinking at that moment, oh, I think this will be interesting to put more chaos. My brain just said, what I said. But I know a part of me thrives on adding chaos to chaos. It's no coincidence that came out my mouth. But I didn't go, here we are. I didn't go, let's orchestrate some...
Well, I think if you did think you're orchestrated, if there was that orchestration, you'd be a different person.
Right.
There'd be an element of manipulation about it.
Yes, and it wasn't.
And the reason why people couldn't enjoy it as well is they can see that. You know, that's who you are. Like, there's an element of chaos. So it relieves everybody of the suspicion that, why is he mentioning this? Why is it making it awkward? Because nobody knows you're doing that on purpose.
This has been a lot of fun, by the way. I've actually enjoyed this more than you have.
All good?
Yeah.
Anna Bloom! That was great, but you know, you need therapy.